Hello everyone, MatzahBall here. And here we are with part 2 of the Mario Kart Wii track rankings. Last time it was with the Nitro tracks, here it's with the 16 Retro tracks, and I wasn't planning on doing this, but a lot of people said that I should, so I decided to, and once again, I'm sorry that this is taking so long to make. I'm trying to upload more frequently, but I've been kind of busy lately. But here we are into the ranking, starting off with Ghost Valley 2, which I kind of hate, not gonna lie. It's really just isn't a good track at all. Like, it has the shortcut, which is like the only like somewhat cool part of it, even though it really isn't that much. But the track overall is very just basic and boring, and that wouldn't even be a problem if it wasn't so short. As you can see, like, I didn't even have a great lap there. I like hit a wall or whatever, and my lines are good, and I completed it in 23 seconds. And online, this course can just absolutely suck, because if you get hit by like one thing, like even like halfway past lap 2, it almost feels like your race is over. And it can be fun sometimes, and I do like ghost themes, but they really did not go far at all with this. And moving on to number 15 is Yoshi Falls, which isn't a bad track necessarily. It's definitely like a mile better than Ghost Valley 2, so you can see like the tracks do definitely get better than that. But again, it is very basic. It does have the waterfalls and the boost panels and the bridge, which are kind of redeeming, but overall, I feel like they could have... I feel like with this course, like, not only was it kind of a boring pick when there are so many cooler Mario Kart DS courses that they could have brought back, again, it's just super short, and it's a bit longer than Ghost Valley 2, but it still just really doesn't have much to it. And now, with Shy Guy Beach at number 14. And this course, it seems like almost everyone hates. And for good reason, because while it doesn't suck, it's just a nightmare to drive, because there's water everywhere, and unless you're on a vehicle like the Magic Cruiser, which I am not in this footage to show the pain, the water will just get so annoying. And then there's the crabs and the bombs, which can be unfair. And again, it's not that it's just difficult. It's that the difficulty is very random and unfair, and it just really isn't fun to drive at all. So one thing that again, back to going to the Magic Cruiser, it can be fun because you can, since there's a great off-road stat, you can drive all over the water and stuff like that, but most of the time you're not going to be picking the Magic Cruiser ahead of time because it's not a great vehicle just on an ordinary course. So this course is just a chaotic nightmare. And another Magic Cruiser course is Sherbet Land, but here the Magic Cruiser kind of just makes it so you don't slip instead of actually helping you exploit the track. But Sherbet Land, again, it's a course that not many people like. It is kind of bland, however, some of the visuals are nice here. And the track, while it is slippery, it luckily isn't as slippery as most other ice tracks, and this whole cave section doesn't have any ice at all, which is nice because it's a nice little breaking point. And the cave does actually provide some difficulty. And I mean, this whole course, like, none of it is really easy because a lot of the time, like, there's a lot of sharp turns and you'll find yourself slipping on the wall. And the penguins are cute, but then again, they are pretty annoying. Not as annoying as the crabs on Shy Guy Beach, but they're certainly up there. And other than that, Sherbet Land is kind of a course where I guess it's okay to play, but you'll never really be super excited. And that's kind of also how I feel with Peach Beach, except it does have a bit more of an exciting feel to it. And I really do like the theme, and like how, like, there's the town, and like right across it is the beach. And another thing that I find very interesting about this track is how many paths that you can take that legit nobody takes. Like, Like, there's here, for example, where pretty much that path around the water fountain is completely useless. And in the Double Dash version of this track, there was a pipe back there they could go through. And then there's this ramp, which I didn't even know existed, like, for, like, 8 years or whatever. And I just, like, saw it one day. And I was like, wow. And again, like, over here, going, like, on the left side, these pink things, like, I feel like that just gives this course, like, even though, like, a lot of the, like, all those paths are slower, it still, like, adds something to it with the exploration. And we know I like exploration. And Mario Circuit 3, usually pretty low on people's lists. And I actually, like, despite it being a completely flat course, unlike Ghost Valley 2, it's actually decent in length, so you will have, like, tense races on here, and even though it's mostly luck-based, all the turning can get kind of exciting, especially if you're on a high drifting vehicle. And there is also a lot of off-road, so it kind of has like a feel to Mario Raceway, like, because if you get mushrooms, you can get ahead fast on this course. But again, it still is just a very flat track, which isn't that surprising since it does come from Super Mario Kart, where like all the tracks are flat. And obviously Mario Kart 8 would like turn this into something crazy, but for what it is, I think it's a pretty good course. And another Mario Circuit track, this time from Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube, I think is slightly better. Now you might be wondering why these are so close, because like just from looking at it, this course, this Mario Circuit just looks like it has a ton more than the other. And while it does, and that is part of the reason why it's ranked above it, I just don't find it nearly as fun to drive, and the races usually seem to be very forgettable. Now this bump section absolutely sucks in Double Dash, but here it's okay with the tricking, and actually, right here, I get a pretty nice low trick, which I was proud of, because that's always fun to pull off, and it makes you look pretty cool. And again, it does also have this tree shortcut here, which isn't really anything to write home about, but overall, this track does have a lot of cool parts, and there is a lot going on. It just doesn't really stand out enough. And now, we're getting into the, almost at the second half, at number 9, DKs Jungle Parkway, which I think is very underappreciated. Like, a lot of the times, people either don't seem to mention this track, or talk about its flaws, or how bad it is, and while I can see its flaws as, if you're not on a vehicle like the Mach Bike, the course would just be an absolute pain to drive. But it does have a nice challenge, and it is actually a fair challenge too, because it's just hard turning, and I really just like the theme, like being in a deep jungle with, like, it looks like a tourist there, like as you can see from the boat at the start, and even this like cave with this shortcut right here, which I kind of failed. You'll see a better attempt in a second, but I think it has a very unique feel to it. So here's the better attempt here. It's pretty hard to pull off. You have to get the exact alignment, but it still can be very satisfying. And now we're getting into the top 8 with Desert Hills, which a lot of people seem to be, like, at first it seemed like a lot of people just really didn't care about this track, and I saw, like, I don't know if it still stands, that's the least picked track online or whatever, but it seems like a lot of veterans of the game seem to like this track now, just because of this ending section right here, where if you get mushrooms, you can go up like 10 places, and it has definitely happened before. This is one of the most fun tracks to bag on, because you can, like, get a golden from the first item set, and then just kind of be at the back of the pack, and on a normal racetrack, a golden wouldn't really be enough to bring you back to first, but on this course, it sure is, and that's probably why it's so fun. And I know deserts, like, aren't the most exciting for people, but I've never really minded them, to be honest. I kind of like desert themes, which is a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I don't really care. And Mario Raceway, number 7. I know a lot of people like this track. It is kind of a fan favorite for the retro tracks, and it is picked online a ton. I think, and people like this similar to Dry Ruins, as it is, well, there are like a ton of big shortcuts that can bring you up places, and there aren't really any as big as the one on Desert Hills, but they're like everywhere. Like if you get a mushroom and you only have like 5 seconds to use it, you will pretty much be guaranteed to find a good place to use it in those 5 seconds, as this track is covered in off-road. And that's like one of the reasons why Mario Kart Wii is so fun with shortcuts, because it's not just the super complex shortcuts that require like spin drifting or like hopping and mushrooming at the right angle. They just really utilize the off-road, as you can cut off so much. And here's like a demonstration of like how you can get ahead early, and it does make it very hard to front run because people will pass you all the time, and it is mostly a luck-based track, but getting first place is so satisfying. And now at DK Mountain, which is a pretty popular track too. I certainly think this is a great track, and while it isn't my favorite, I do absolutely love playing on it, and I think its races are great and some of the best. And it is a very difficult track, as the boulders can get in your way, and just it overall is very bumpy and has a lot of sharp turns. The main thing that makes it difficult, I think, is this gap cut here, and it's not necessarily a difficult shortcut, but when you're in lower VR ranges, which is where I am most of the time, a lot of people will be struggling with that shortcut, and if you can pull it off, even though it isn't a hard shortcut by any means, you will like feel great, and you can save a ton of time from doing that shortcut. And it's definitely worth learning, because I do get that it can take some time to learn, as the angle is a bit weird while you're coming at it after the turn. You kind of just have to like stop a bit, and I'm sure there's faster ways to do it, but just point it off consistently is your best bet. And now with Waluigi Stadium, I've always liked this track. I think it's like the most energetic one, or one of the most energetic tracks. There's just the music, and there's tricking like everywhere, and ramps, and the overall theme, it kind of feels like you're at a monster truck show, which is a really cool feeling, because I've actually been to a few monster truck shows back when I was younger, and they were great. And this really reminds me about it, just being indoors in this like looking at this like dirt track with vehicles racing. And I think it really utilizes or shows off Mario Kart Wii's trick system, as you can do like high tricks, low tricks, and even some cool shortcuts, and you can ride the half pipes. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the half pipes in this track, because I think it is a bit more fun actually driving around and avoiding the piranha plants rather than just skipping over the whole section. But it is Mario Kart Wii, so it is gonna throw its half pipes in there somewhere, and I do think they're utilized well. And now here we are with Delfino Square, the fan favorite, of course. And I really like this track, and I am yet to meet someone who doesn't, because just the theme of this track is absolutely great, and it really never gets old. Like, you can play it forever, and I mean, yeah, it gets boring after a little while, but I mean, all tracks do, but it has everything. And despite looking like a flat, boring track, it really isn't, as you can see the shortcut there that I kind of did, kind of failed, and then this bridge, which is constantly changing, I really like, and just the town overall. And here's a better attempt at the shortcut that I can show, and this is actually a pretty good attempt. That's like probably the best I've ever done it, because it's very hard to pull it off without hitting any walls or like getting stuck in the dirt for a minute. But yeah, Delfino Square is great. And here we are with Bowser's Castle 3 entering the top 3, and this has always been one of my favorites, and and when I originally made the list, it was actually at number 1, because it's pretty much a combination between Waluigi Stadium and Mario Circuit 3, which means it's an energetic track with a lot of tricking and a lot of cool turning. And also here's the shortcut here that I'm actually getting better at. I can do this pretty consistently now, and I know I tricked there, which you aren't necessarily supposed to, but I can also do it without it. It kind of just happens like when I wheelie, but you don't even need to wheelie to do it, so I don't know. But I think this is a great track, like, not only just to race on, because its races are absolutely great, and like every time I'm like front running this track, I just get like a rush of adrenaline. But also it's a great track to learn your drifting on, because I've like practiced like so many of my drifting techniques on this track, and even though it is completely flat, or well, I guess there are some ramps, even though it is flat for the most part, that doesn't really seem to matter here, because it has so much variety with the thwomps, and like I said, all the ramps and the turns and the lava, so I don't think that's a valid excuse to turn it down. And Peach Gardens, which is probably pretty random to put at number 2, and I know for a lot of people it's a very forgettable track, but I just love Peach Gardens, and I will admit sometimes I do forget it's in the game, but then when I'm thinking of a track to pick, I'm like, oh yeah, Peach Gardens, like, and I pick it because it's a great track just to calm down and really remember what this game is about, which is fun, because Peach Gardens has always been fun to me, and it just has this thing to it which no other Mario Kart Wii track has, which is why I always come back to it, because it is just amazing with all the flowers and the chain chomps and just like the hedge maze and like everything. It's just like, it's like a kind of a slow paced track, but not like so slow that you'll get bored, just slow enough so you can really like relax for a minute. And now at number 1, this actually surprised me too when I put it at number 1, but I realized that it is my favorite track, and that is N64 Bowser's Castle. And usually this is looked at as the worst Bowser's Castle of the 3 in this game, but I actually think it's my favorite, and I think the reason is because of its length, and I do actually really like long tracks when they don't feel like tirelessly long. Like with a lot of custom tracks, they just feel so long that you just get bored and you don't know what you're doing. But here, you know where you're going, and all the turns are like 90-degree turns, so you really are gonna be wanting to know what you're doing. And for a Bowser's Castle, I will admit it isn't the most difficult track, even though there are thwomps everywhere. Like you learn to avoid them easily, but just overall, I just love like this track's shortcuts and variety, because 1 second you're like here in the castle avoiding thwomps, and the next second you're outside in a garden, and then you're just going off a ramp over lava and can do that shortcut over the bridge. And that's just why I love this track. And I do get hit by a thwomp here, which I know I was saying how they are easy to avoid, but for the most part they are. And like even just looking around, like you'll like notice a lot of cool details that you didn't see before. And that is about it for this video, so I just wanted to thank you guys all for watching, and I do enjoy making this video, so I'll try to make them a bit more frequently. And yeah, thank you for watching.